The slot command is really nothing more than a straight or curved line and an offset entity, or a couple of circles and some curved lines. However, the slot command does really speed up the process of generating that type of geometry. To get started, let's go ahead and start a sketch on the top plane. Start a sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and come up here to the sketch toolbar and come under slot and go ahead and start with the straight slot option. First one. In this case here, I'm going to click where I want to start and drag out a line and click where I want to end. As soon as I click, it now turns it into the slot, and I can define either the radius or the diameter. Click here, and then as soon as I'm done with that, go ahead and click Escape. Then you can come up to Smart Dimension, add a dimension of the width of the slot, maybe 2 inches across there, and come up here for the other dimension of 0.5, and there's my slot. Now I can grab one of the endpoints, I could drag it around and maybe snap it to the origin, or I can come and grab the midpoint and do the same thing. As soon as I snap it on there, everything becomes fully defined in black. It's fully defined, it knows exactly where it is. It knows its location, orientation, and rotation. Okay, the next slot is a center point straight slot. There it is. Click where you want to start, and then as I drag this out, notice it gives me kind of this angle heads-up display. So it's a pretty neat way to create an angled slot. Click when you're done, and again, it turns it into a slot right away. And I can go ahead and add a couple dimensions if I'd like. Dimension from here over to here. I'll type in 0.75, and I'll define the length of the slot of 2 inches. And then if I wanted to find the angle, what I can do is I can use maybe a construction line, start from one of the corners, click OK, and then add a dimension from that line to the other line to define the angle. If I want to tie this into the origin, what I can do is create a couple other construction lines, start from one of these endpoints here, come down so I'm close to where I want to be. Or if I go a little further, it's okay as well. Click here, click onto the origin, and then make sure that I turn this line into a horizontal line so I can define it very clearly. Then if I move this up, you can see those lines are always attached. And then I can come over here and dimension the lines. Type in 1/2 inch, and over here we'll type in 5 inches to define that shape, and notice everything becomes fully defined. If I come up here again to the slot command, this time I come down to the 3-point arc slot. I want to click where I want to start, I want to click where I want to end, and then third, I'm going to define what that radius is going to be. As soon as I click, it creates the slot, and you can go from there. If you want to define the angle of that slot, you can use the center lines and start from one of the endpoints, go to the center of the radius, and then back up to the other endpoint. I could then type in a number to define that angle. Maybe we'll type in 80, click OK, and you can see the slot change. We could then define the center point or any other angles we want using simple dimensions or relationships. The final type of slot is the center point arc slot, and you want to click right where you want it to start in the beginning, and it shows you a little circle showing you the major diameter radius of that slot. Once you click, then it gives you the option to define how much of that circle you actually want to use for the slot. In this case here, I'm going to go to about 260 degrees. As soon as I click, it turns it into a slot, and I can just drag out the slot. Click OK, and again, I could dimension or add some center lines from the endpoints to the center point to define the angle. I can set up some rotations. I could use, again, if I put a center line here, I could define that maybe as a vertical line, and then I can easily rotate this, move it around to whatever I need to do with that slot. A couple great ways to create slots. Makes it really easy versus having to draw all those lines individually or use the offset command.